everyone. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for the weekend of November 15th, 16th, and 17th. On today's show, Dr. Trevor Elmquist tells us about dry eye syndrome and what we can do to treat it. But first, our Festival of Heroes week concludes on Friday with a unique event we're calling Become a Volunteero. All the volunteer groups at Shell Point will be represented, and you can learn more about everyone from the Suzy Q to the Pavilion Auxiliary to the computer lab proctors. And did we mention they have candy? That's reason enough to come. All are welcome to the Volunteero event happening Friday at 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. in the Woodlands Commons. On page 38 of your Shell Point Life magazine, you can read about the LifeQuest Year in Review. It's been an exciting time for our new wellness initiative, and you always have a chance to hop on board and challenge yourself in 2014. Specifically this weekend, we have an event focusing on fitness over 60. Now, the next time you say, I'm too old to start exercising, just picture Joe Grapes of Macoma, who turned 100 years old this month. He works out in the Island Health Club 3 times a week, and he didn't even start exercising until he moved to Shell Point at age 89. So, how do you get started? Find out at our LifeQuest group discussion, Fitness Over 60. It happens on Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands, and all are welcome. And then next week, we have a presentation from our favorite ophthalmologist, Dr. Trevor Elmquist. He'll be discussing dry eye, that condition where your eyes feel gritty and uncomfortable. Find out how to treat this condition at a Health Connection class next Friday, November 22nd at 1:15 in the Social Center. Here is a preview.
I'm Mary Franklin, and I'm here today with a doctor that I feel needs no introduction here at Shell Point because everybody knows Dr. Elmquist. He has been at Shell Point as one of our specialty doctors for many years, and he's going to be presenting once again in the Health Connections on Friday, November 22nd in the Social Center at 1:15. And the topic is dry eye syndrome, which, Dr. Elmquist, a little bit of an oxymoron because dry eye syndrome has nothing to do with dryness.
Well, it has a lot to do with dryness, but one of the common symptoms that we see are wet eyes. So it's really kind of difficult to explain to the patient who comes in saying, I'm tearing, what's wrong? And I want to talk about dry eyes. That's the first thing I think of. It's very common to have dry eyes that irritate your eyes, and then there's this reflex tearing to wash your eyes off. Your brain says something's on my eyes, drying out the skin or rubbing on the skin. So your lacrimal gland secretes tears and trying to flush it out. That's a natural response.
And you do run into folks that always do kind of constantly look like they're crying. They shouldn't be scared to go to a doctor's appointment because there are many options of treatment, right? And
correct. Most of what we do, and we'll talk about this, is sort of a step-ladder approach. We'll start with basic, simple, conservative things first, and then move up to higher medications or even possibly surgery. But
okay. Well, one of the things that I appreciate and our residents appreciate about you is you are very much of an educator. You don't feel, you're not the doctor that I have all the information and I'm just going to tell you what to do. You educate your patients.
I do, and it's true with our cataract class. Before surgery, everybody has to attend my class. It's a prerequisite.
Right.
And they like it, and they educate me about their needs so I can do a better job in surgery when I know what I'm trying to achieve for this particular patient.
Right. It's nice. You make a decision with the patient, and I respect that from you.
Thank you.
Well, this is going to be a great presentation on Friday, November 22nd. And anybody that has any dry eye syndrome issues, or maybe one of your friends or a loved one does, this will be some great information for you to gather. Once again, on Friday, November 22nd at 1:15 in the Social Center. I'm Mary Franklin, along with Dr. Elmquist. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Coming up, we are replaying some of the week's best stories from Shell Point TV. But before we do that, let's cover all of this weekend's happenings, Academy news, menus, and church news.
Welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. This is the weekend edition, and I'm Bev Chandley here with Leslie Brennan. We're going to go over what's going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for you. We're We're going to start out Friday at 8:15 with the Stamp Ministry. That'll be down in the Stamp Room on the island. At 8:30 to 11:30, you'll find our Marketplace in Administration Courtyard. At 9 o'clock, the men's match play doubles tennis group will be down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. The Susie Q will head downtown Fort Myers for lunch at 9:30. At 10 o'clock, Become a Volunteer Hero will be at the Oak Room of the Woodlands Commons from 10 to 2. At 10 o'clock, we have Canasta in the game room. New players are always welcome. Inquiring Minds will be meeting in the Manatee Room at 10:15. We'll jump all the way to 12:30 where we have Mixed Progressive Bridge. That'll be in the Woodlands game room. 1:15, you'll find table tennis in the Tarpon Room on the island. Also at 1:15, the Quilters will be in the Osprey Room. The Model Train Room will be open for tours from 1:30 to 3:30 today. 1:30, we also have Vespers in the Community Room of the Arbor. If you like the game of euchre, they'll be in the Sable Room at the Woodlands at 2 o'clock. Head out there and play a game. Then we have Vespers in the Community Room of King's Crown at 2:45. We're going to wind down Friday night at 6:45. We'll have game night at the Resident Activity Center, and that's always a lot of fun, so head on out for that. Now, Leslie's here. She's going to tell us about Saturday's lineup.
Thank you, Bev. We're here to kick off the weekend with an 8 o'clock Adopt a Road in the Administration Circle. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis at the Tennis Courts. 9:45 is the Duplicate Bridge in the Manatee Room. Also at 9:45, we have a Health Connections Shell Point pole walking class in the Health Club, but it is closed. 10 o'clock is the Life Quest group discussion in the Grand Cypress Room. 10:15 is the Model Yacht Sailing Club at the Commons Lakes at the Woodlands. At 1 o'clock, we have chess in the Library Lounge. 1:15 is table tennis. It's available all weekend unless otherwise noted in the Tarpon Room. 3:15 is the Basic Line Dancing in the Health Club. 6:30, we have Duplicate Bridge in the Manatee Room. 6:15 is the Symphony Classical Series, the Barbara B. Mann Theater. Court pickup will start at 6:15 on the island, 6:25 at the Woodlands, and 6:35 at Eagles Preserve. Thank you, and now here's Bev to tell you about Sunday's activities.
Well, Leslie, we're going to start out at 9 o'clock this morning. The Christian Life Studies will be in the game room of the Woodlands. At 9:15, you'll have Christian Life Studies at the Village Church on the island. Our morning worship service will be held at 10:15 at the Village Church, and it will be broadcast live on Shell Point TV, Channel 12. We're going to jump to the afternoon at 2 o'clock where the Mixed Golf League will be out at the golf course. And at 2:30, we have a Sunday matinee. It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. That's a 1963 film. So if you want to see a good movie, head on out there. Grand Cypress Room. 3:15, we have ballroom line dancing for beginners. That'll be in the Health Club on the island. And then we round out our day with 6:15 evening service at the Village Church. Well, we're sure glad you joined us for the weekend edition, and we can't wait to see you back here next week.
Hi, I'm Terry Coleth with your Academy information for the weekend. On Friday, November 15th at 9:15, we have Adobe Photoshop Elements continuing in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. And at 10 o'clock, using FaceTime on iPhones and the iPad continues in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. I'd like to tell you about our new classes coming next week. On Monday, November 18th, we have Exploring the Lives and Works of 20th Century American Writers, number 1 of a 2-part program. Harriet Furton Reese of Genonia is our instructor. On Tuesday, we have Jerusalem, Holy City to 3 Religions with Professor Adrian Kerr. We also have iOS 7, What's New, by Bruce Findlay of Sundial. This semester's holistic focus on a topic of importance to all of us focuses on gratitude, and our instructors are Dr. Carol Clark, Dr. Sue Stranahan, and Dr. Nancy Spencer. On Wednesday, we have the 3rd Legacy Seminar. This one focuses on the work of the Legacy Foundation and features our own Timothy Stevenson, Executive Director. We have Session 2 of Exploring the Lives and Works of 20th Century American Writers, again by Harriet Furton Reese of Genonia. On Thursday, we have our 6th and final Academy on the Go of this semester, and we're going to Sundance Orchid Nursery for those who have signed up. On Friday, we look at Before the Killing Begins, the politics of mass violence. Dr. Albert Myers of Genonia shares a DVD from the Stanley Foundation and then moderates us an extended discussion of this topic.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is grilled tuna with fried rice and Asian vegetables. For dinner, the special is the seafood buffet for $14.95, and the soup of the day is Manhattan clam chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, enjoy a turkey Reuben with coleslaw for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. In the Palm Grill on Friday, the specials are lamb chops for $20.95 or Florida lobster for $19.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, enjoy a chili cheese dog with baked beans for $7.25. The dinner special is chicken francaise with mashed sweet potato and green beans for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Saturday are prime rib for $19.95 or braised lamb shanks for $15.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, enjoy a ham, egg, and cheese croissant with fresh fruit for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25, and the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Pastor Andy Hawkins is joining me today, and we are thrilled to be part of Village Church Connections with you and invite you in today as we talk about our weekend. Andy, you are in a series on Sunday mornings right now based in Luke 15.
That's right.
And this will be one of the messages in that series. Tell us what to expect this Sunday.
Well, it's an interesting series because it relates to what Jesus indicated was a parable, but actually there are 3 parables. There's the parable of the lost sheep, the parable of the lost coin, and then the parable of the lost son. And each of them really demonstrates the irrepressible love of God for people that He wants to save from their lost condition. And in this particular week, we're going to be looking at the 3rd of that series of parables, the parable of the lost son. And we'll see how the father loves to throw his dignity aside because of the treasure that he finds in the son who had really squandered his living and his inheritance in running away to a faraway place. And it's a wonderful story and an image that people are very, very familiar with, but there are great spiritual truths invested in that story. And of course, we'll make connections between that and the other 2 parables in the series.
Each one just shares a little bit different dimension of God's love, I believe.
That's correct.
I grew up with these parables as a child growing up through Sunday school class, but it was just a couple years ago that I explored them in more depth as an adult and found deep, rich meaning there.
That's right.
And so, yeah, the parable of the lost son.
Yeah.
And then, of course, choir will be singing, and we'll have our normal opportunities for worship, which are always beautiful. And then Sunday night.
Yeah, this is also interesting, and this is the way sort of God's providence would have it. I actually started a series last week called Dimensions of Grace. And that whole series was based upon a hymn that I had been introduced to by one of my favorite teachers, Sinclair Ferguson. And the hymn was actually written by an African pastor back in the middle of the 20th century, called How the Grace of God Amazes Me. And there are different dimensions of the grace of God. I think we often look at it rather simplistically, but there are all kinds of dimensions that are unfolded to us in which God, far beyond anything that we deserve, grants us all kinds of benefits. And so we've been looking at it, and sort of the hymn, which has 7 verses in it, really recounts various dimensions of it, and so those provide the themes for each of these evening services when we actually address or are involved in this series. Well, as it turns out, the 2nd verse is what we're going to be looking at for this Sunday evening, And as it turns out, that has a very clear and specific allusion to the parable of the lost son. And so we're going to spend the day exploring the parable of the lost son, and we're going to look at it in a couple of different ways in the evening compared to the way we've looked at it in the morning. But I think it's providential, the way the Lord pieces these times and opportunities together, that we would have a theme like that for the entire day. And obviously the parable is rich enough to sustain many more than an entire day of contemplation.
God's amazing. Yeah. And I know the farther I get along in my faith journey, the more I'm amazed by His grace.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to what you have to share Sunday night.
Well, I am too.
Thank you for joining me today, Andy. And thank you as well. We invite you to join us Sunday morning at 10:15, Sunday night at 6:15 for our times of worship. Have a wonderful day.
It's time for our Shell Point TV Week in Review. And we began this week with a visit to Lily & Company Jewelry on Sanibel.
Hey Bev, come here. Come look at this.
What you got? What you got?
We've got all kinds of things. Let's look at the diamonds and the silver and the gold and the pearls. Wow.
Yeah, this is amazing. I had no idea they had such a selection here.
Me either. I just want all this fabulous jewelry that Lily & Company has.
They do a nice job here. They have their own designers, and then they have outside designers as well, I've heard.
And they even have paw prints for the dogs. And
well, the dogs need to have their bling.
That is true. They have great stuff here.
I like the bracelets. I'm a bracelet person.
Look at those flower earrings.
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
I can't wait, and it's coming so soon.
What's coming so soon?
You haven't heard?
No, I haven't heard. What's going on?
The event on November 19th at the Social Center on the island. We're having Lily & Company come out for a ladies' night out. We're having all sorts of jewelry from different designers come out and display it all over the Social Center. It starts at 5:15 to 6:45. You don't want to miss it. It will be a great time.
Will they be able to buy jewelry at this event?
Of course. You can come in, out, whatever you want to do. Look at the jewelry. We'll have refreshments, a couple hors d'oeuvres at the end.
Sounds great.
Yeah, well, we can't wait. You better be there.
You said you were bringing Lily & Company to Shell Point for an event?
I am.
When is that?
November 19th.
November 19th. I'm bringing Shell Point here to Lily & Company, here on Sanibel Island on December 12th.
What a coincidence.
So they can come here, see all the jewelry that they didn't see at your event, and they can try this stuff on. Where can you go to buy fine jewelry and pet dogs at the same time?
I can't believe they have dogs here.
I love this place. This is wonderful. They're having a brunch, and we're coming out about 11 o'clock. We're going to get here. It's like a finger food brunch, and then they'll be able to check out all the fine jewelry they have here at Lily & Company, gift items, that sort of thing. Should be great.
That's a great idea.
I think this is a jewelry kind of Christmas this year.
It is. Better get all those presents for your loved ones with Lily & Company.
Shell Point and Lily & Company
is a winning combination. Sign up today.
Herb Wilcox had a unique experience during the Korean War, serving in the unlikely city of Trieste in Italy.
During World War II, and as a kid, 17, you could join the Navy, which I did. And I thought they'd let me get out of high school sooner, but they didn't. They said, no, you must stay until you graduate, which I did. And I ended up in boot camp in Great Lakes, north of Chicago, when they dropped the bomb and the war ended. I got the GI Bill. I went to Bucknell University, where I met my wife. And halfway through, the Korean War started, and they called me into the Army. So I was a drill instructor for a while, and although I had degrees in engineering, and I could have done that, I volunteered to go to Infantry Officer Candidate School, which was rather stupid, since most infantry officer graduates were going directly to Korea. Oddly enough, I got orders to go to Europe, to Trieste.
Tiny, restless Trieste, free territory on the Adriatic Sea, long coveted by Yugoslavia and Italy.
Italy, as you know, is a long boot down into Sicily, and the very northern part borders on Austria and at the time on Yugoslavia. Way around the corner, about 85 miles east of Venice, is this beautiful city called Trieste. It's an Italian city. It had been captured 8 different times by foreign forces, including Napoleon, I guess, did it 3 times. You know, he never learned. And it had been the only seaport for the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which is very huge and very important. 2 years before the official end of the Second World War, the whole nation of Italy became a country occupied by the Nazis, by the Germans. Finally, as the war ended, there was a guy by the name of Marshal Tito, a communist general from Yugoslavia, and his troops moved into the city of Trieste, which had been Italian at the time.
Marshal Tito of Yugoslavia bluntly demands that Trieste city continue as a free port and the surrounding area be swallowed up by his country. In a show of strength, he orders troops and tanks to the Yugoslav border.
The American 88th Infantry Division moved in, and one of the regiments, mine, the 351st, we were the ones that were garrisoned in Trieste, and we were on the front line. Trieste United States Troops, it was called. But actually, it was not part of Italy, it was part of the United Nations. They took it over because it was in some sort of battle as to who really owned it. So it was really, we were, in effect, United Nations troops holding that city. We had loaded weapons pointed down at the border. We could see the border, anti-tank weapons, and the Yugoslavs had theirs. And every once in a while, I guess just because everybody was bored, you could look over the border with your binoculars, and the Yugoslavs get all their tanks together and come as fast as they could at the border. And I would have to tell my guys, okay, lock and load, we're ready. And they'd slam on their brakes when they hit the border. Glad they didn't have any brake problems. Occasionally there would be a few riots down in Trieste because there were a lot of communists there. So our battalion would put on our gear and walk down and march in, and with chrome-plated bayonets, we would go in and calm the populace. Now, a lot of them were very thankful that they were there, but you always had the agitators. We did a lot of winter training in Austria. It was rough. It was, why, I don't know, but they always put us on top of a mountain. And we had to haul all the stuff up there. And the peculiar thing is that it didn't snow in Trieste, but we were in the snow for 2 months out of the year. I guess it kept us in good shape. We really didn't know what we were doing. We were part of a play, and it was on the much higher level. We were like spear carriers in an opera. We didn't know what was going on. It was a militarily untenable situation. From our outpost to the Adriatic Sea, which was all downhill, was about 15 miles. And if the Yugoslav army with their tanks had wanted to cross the border, we were outmanned, they couldn't have stopped us, and we would have been driven into the sea in about 2 hours. And there I had a wife. She and other officers' wives, there was a displaced persons camp down there because there were people still wandering around after World War II. They didn't have a country, they didn't know where they were. And so the wives would go down and work in the displaced persons camp with the people there, you know, the children and wives. And so she was quite busy, they all were. One of our orders was to keep a suitcase packed at all times. Not even pack it, but keep it packed in the hallway because you were going to leave, but we couldn't figure out what we were going to leave on. But that was part of it. And so in many ways it was sort of a show because we were spit and polish. We were the prime organization there. We had even our mess kits and canteens, and as I say, our bayonets were chromium plated. We had special uniforms, and we would march through the city. And in general, it was just, we were partly show, partly fighting on the border, and partly up in the snow in the mountains. And the odd thing was, we had our daughter was born there, at the 7th Station Hospital, still there. You know, we didn't have cell phones or anything else. We didn't telephone our parents, mail came. But as a bunch of us were leaving, we were getting on a ship, and there was a photographer from the Associated Press. And they took a picture of my wife and I and the baby, who was 7 weeks old. And it went back by wire to the States. And my parents and my in-laws knew about us coming back 2 weeks before we did. And then finally, about 2 months after my wife and our baby and I left, they signed an agreement and they gave it to Italy, and things were pretty good. The city is a fabulous city. It's beautiful. Has 3 or 4 castles. And I wanted to show each of my kids where we were, and they thought it was a pretty cool place. Later on, I finally got to take my daughter, who was born there, to go back and see where she was born. The people of Trieste, particularly my generation, and the people in this little town of Opicina, for us, we were their heroes. And they still do. I went to this little town in Opicina, and they found out I was one of the troopers. I couldn't buy lunch or a drink. They were feeding us all the time. And it's just, it's a wonderful thing, but it doesn't happen very often. The most famous speech, or one of them that Churchill gave, and I can almost say it from memory, it was called "From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent." And of course we were in Trieste and we were holding the other end of the Iron Curtain.
Joseph Jolmius travels to Haiti regularly, supporting several different projects. He talked about why he loves his home country.
Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Koleth, and I'm here today with 2 important Shell Point employees, Joseph Jolmius and Paul Yakovich, and we're talking about Hero for Haiti. What's it like to work with this hero, Paul?
Well, I've been very fortunate. Joseph has been here for over 20 years. We just recognized his 20-year milestone. I've had the fortunate opportunity to work with Joseph since I've been here, which is nearly 15 years. His involvement in not only in the Shell Point community, but the community without Shell Point is just tremendous. So the moniker hero is well suited. He's very active in the local community, Haitian community, in the church. He travels annually to Haiti to help with a medical team out of Miami. He's continually sending all kinds of clothing and other items over to help the Haitian community. And a few years back, when Haiti experienced that tremendously devastating earthquake, Joseph was there. And we were really worried about this guy.
At the time of the earthquake?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything about him or from him for days. And he finally had to work his way through the Dominican Republic to find his way back to the United States. So again, in every aspect within the local community, helping with the local employees, be it translation or just bringing issues to our attention that when Haitian staff needs help, to the local community within Fort Myers, to his many, many trips to Haiti.
It's fabulous. So you have a lot of support from your department.
Thank you.
Of Shell Point, right? From the people you work with here at Shell Point. Yes, a lot of support. Because a lot of people are very impressed by what you do for other people. Joseph, how long have you been in America? When did you come?
I come in 1980.
And
I was in Boston for 10 years, and I moved back to Florida in 1980, and I started to work with Shell Point in 1990.
Well, Joseph, you've shared with me the projects you've worked on, and we're going to be so glad to share them with our residents in this Coffee with a Neighbor. First, your food distribution project, taking food to Haiti.
Oh, I was trying to start to help Haiti in 1995, my first trip, and I go to put rice in the bag, put the beans, put everything, and drive the truck all the city and south and north to make a delivery, because at this time some hurricane season happened in Haiti. A lot of people out of drink, out of food. And after that, back to the United States, and again I make another trip to go to a medical team to help people all the country to give a medical, take the doctor with me, help them to translate it. That's what I do. And
so you help the doctor, you translate it, so the doctor that you took with you could actually hear what the people were saying and understand what they needed.
What the medicine you need, what kind of sickness you got it, to help them to explain and to try to give you treatment for it.
Gee. And then school construction.
I start to do the project for the school, because I take the school from the dirt to put it the new building you see over there. It was a little building, and the people don't have any bench to sit down. Sometimes people stand up for 8 hours a day. And when I start to build the school, and we try to make it a school like that, and people got almost a lot of benches got now, and the school coming very nicely.
And then just last month, you went back for a water project.
For water project. Now you got a clean water. A lot of, even the community can't use the water, and school also got a clean water to drink.
And now you took a few things from Shell Point with you.
Oh yes, I got a lot of television. A lot of people never see television almost their life. We're excited.
This would be a great opportunity to thank all the residents here, because as I was explaining to you, Terry, when we converted to all digital television, the signal, a lot of the existing TVs, the analog TVs, no longer would receive the signals. And we asked the residents that if we could pick up those TVs and donate them to Joseph. And Joseph has collected hundreds of televisions that will work in Haiti. So those people that don't have television in Haiti, good or bad, depends on how you feel about television, they've been bringing them over there. So it's a tremendous effort.
It must be amazing, especially for children. To see. Yes. Fabulous. Well, Joseph, I would just like to encourage our residents to take a look at the current November Shell Point Life and see a picture of you and Harold Hansen, who you've partnered with, and see some of the photographs. We are just delighted to have this celebration in the week of Celebrations of Heroes with our own hero for Haiti, Joseph.
Medicare is now in its open enrollment period, available until December 7th. Our Medicare billing department gave an overview of what to expect.
Okay, we'll start today with open enrollment 2014, and we all know that open enrollment is now until December 7th. So you have to make a decision by then what you're going to do with your Medicare benefits. The very, very important is to keep your book. If it's the Medicare book or anything else an insurance company will send you, please keep the book. It is very, very crucial, because this will outline exactly what your benefits are going to be throughout the year. So it doesn't matter which plan you choose, doesn't matter which insurance you'll have. And if you need to understand what is in that book, if you need to sort things out, please come and see us. We're happy to make appointments with you and sit with you one-on-one and explain it. What is Medicare? Everybody probably knows this. When you turn 65, you're eligible to receive your Medicare benefits. And we usually refer to that as the traditional Medicare plan. And it will cover a large portion of your medical benefits and your medical care. I'm going to have Diane come up and talk to you a little bit about the Part A plan and what your benefits are and how you get that.
Part A is your benefit at no cost after paid in or worked 40 quarters or 10 years in your working life. Part A is defined as coverage for inpatient services. It covers your hospital stays, and it would cover your skilled nursing a stay in our skilled nursing facility. Part B, the coverage that you get when you sign up for Medicare, is not free. The premium is based, it used to be a flat fee until last year when they decided to increase it, and it's based on your adjusted gross income for the previous 2 years. The Part B benefit covers your outpatient services like doctors, labs, medical expenses, and most testing. In the Medicare book, it refers to Part C. There's A, B, C, and a lot of things I know, but the Medicare Advantage is referred to as the Part C program. And it's offered through many companies. Aetna, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, United Healthcare, and Humana, they all have Medicare Advantage plans that anybody can go and call their insurance agent and ask them that they want to sign up for a Medicare Advantage or replacement policy. And a licensed insurance broker can get you a plan from any of those companies. You can purchase that plan. Traditional Medicare Part A usually has a deductible for inpatient services, and traditional Medicare Part B pays 80% of most of your outpatient services after the deductible, unless it's a wellness service, in which case it'll pay 100%. Supplemental insurance plans C through N, those are the plans that you can buy that cover skilled nursing facility coinsurance. Plans A and B do not, but plans C through N do, which we, if you want to have skilled nursing facility coinsurance paid for, those plans would be the ones for supplements. And they pay your deductibles, and they may pay your deductibles depending on the plan that you choose and the remaining balance of all Medicare-approved charges. Not all supplemental insurance plans are the same. There are many to choose from, and it's the same stands with the supplemental plans that you receive from your retirement plan. Those can be different from the uniform supplemental plans that you can buy. And to be worry-free at ShellPoint, a Plan F is recommended, and that plan would cover everything that you would need to pay for here at ShellPoint. If you could choose a Part C plan, which would take the place of traditional Medicare and enroll you in a private insurance company. There are only 4 in this area to choose from, and those would be United Healthcare, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Aetna, and Humana. However, in ShellPoint, as mentioned before, with both Aetna and United Healthcare, you will need to use your out-of-network benefits.
Some of the pros and cons about the Advantage plans. Here we have the pros listed. In most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, you will have no monthly premium. And in some cases, again, not all cases, the drug plan is included. The cons for the Advantage plans are you have some deductibles in many cases and copays. Most everybody will have copays that will apply when you go see your primary care physician. And they're higher when you see your specialist. If you are on traditional Medicare, you will not have those copays. And if you have a good supplement plan, that will pick up to 20%. An example of traditional Medicare versus a Medicare Advantage plan, following a 3-day hospital stay, a resident is admitted to the pavilion, and the 3-day hospital stay is a qualifying factor. You have to be inpatient for 3 days before the pavilion stay would be paid for. Under traditional Medicare, you may pay for days 1 through 20, nothing. And then days 21 through 25, your out-of-pocket cost will only be $740. With an Advantage plan, we used United Healthcare as an example. You will pay for days 1 through 20, $3,800, and you will pay for days 21 through 25 or 6, is that? Oh, thank you. You'll pay $4,875. So there's a huge difference in your out-of-pocket expense if you end up having to use the pavilion services. The pavilion or skilled nursing facility is out-of-network for all insurance companies. Every traditional commercial insurance company is out-of-network. So you again refer to your insurance handbook. It's really important that you have it and keep it. Don't throw it away. And that goes for the skilled nursing coverage and the outpatient therapy, should you need that. Hospice. If anyone needs hospice services, any traditional Medicare will take over. So if you have an Advantage plan and you are enrolled in hospice, that drops right then and there and Medicare takes over. At that point, you have no supplement. So Medicare will pay their 80%, and you will be responsible for the 20%. If you have traditional Medicare and a supplement, this will not be a concern for you. And then we have the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Defense. If you have served in your lifetime, if you have been in the military during war, if you've been deployed, all of those are qualifying factors that could get you TRICARE for life. So you might want to make a couple of phone calls or go on the tricare.mil/mybenefit, and you can find out whether or not you qualify to receive TRICARE for life. And that is a supplemental insurance after Medicare that will cost you nothing and cover absolutely everything. Save you all of your explanation of benefits. We call them EOBs. Medicare sends them out per quarter, and it shows all of the different things that Medicare has paid for, has been billed for. If you have any questions about any of the services and you're not sure if you've had it or if you have a question about it and why am I being billed this and is this a right charge, please come and see us. Bring it over, come and see us, and we'll help you sort it out. If you get a bill that doesn't make any sense, come ask us. Give us a call, come ask us, and we'll be happy to do whatever's necessary to sort out that situation for you.
Dawn Boren gave a preview of this season's Fine and Performing Arts series.
It's that time of year when our thoughts turn to the exciting concert season, and we look forward to world-class musicians bringing a unique variety of entertainment to the concert hall in our own backyard. Hi, I'm Dawn Boren, Director of Resident Life here at Shell Point. We have a unique lineup of musical performers coming to our community, from instrumentalists to vocalists, and from solo acts to extravagant big bands. It's my privilege to announce the lineup for our flagship concert series, the Fine and Performing Arts series, in this, its 11th season. We begin in November with an inspirational tenor, Daniel Rodriguez, who grew up in a musical family in New York City and even sang in Carnegie Hall as a teenager. But to support his family, he began working as a cab driver, short order cook, and eventually a New York City policeman. On September 11, 2001, his talent suddenly took center stage as he began singing at memorial services while in NYPD uniform. This notoriety brought him to the attention of Placido Domingo, who helped Rodriguez blossom into a world-class tenor. He has performed at the 2002 Winter Olympics, the Memorial Day concert in Washington, and on numerous television programs. His full-bodied tenor voice lends inspiration to classical selections, Broadway and popular songs, spiritual anthems, and of course, patriotic anthems like God Bless America. Don't miss the singing policeman Daniel Rodriguez on Thursday, November 14th. At Christmas time, we get a triple treat: a close harmony vocal group, an instrumental jazz combo, and an entertaining holiday performance, all in one show. The Four Freshmen are a legendary collection of talent whose close vocal harmonies inspired generations of groups, from Manhattan Transfer to the Beach Boys. They were first spotted by band leader Stan Kenton in 1950. And ever since, the Four Freshmen have been harmonizing and making beautiful jazz music all over the world. The current lineup has been together for more than a decade and has been recognized as the best vocal group of the year, both by Downbeat and Jazz Times magazines. Every one of their songs will bring a smile to your face and tap to your toes and a thrill to your soul. It's the Four Freshmen returning to Shell Point for a holiday performance on Thursday, December 19th. In January, we take a musical trip to New Orleans to hear the heart and soul of Bourbon Street. The Preservation Hall Jazz Band takes its name from the famous jazz venue in the French Quarter, which started as a tavern during the War of 1812, but has since become the purest jazz experience available in the world. When you hear the band's pianos, trumpets, trombones, clarinets, and banjos, you become a witness to the groundbreaking jazz spirit of Louis Armstrong and Jelly Roll Morton. The Preservation Hall Jazz Band brings the musical history to Shell Point on Saturday, January 4th. Our next artists require no introduction. All you need to hear is this melody. That's right, the Glenn Miller Orchestra is coming to Shell Point in February, one of the most sought-after big bands in the world. The Glenn Miller Orchestra carries on the tradition of their famous founder, who formed his orchestra in 1938. This 19-member band plays Glenn Miller's original sheet music and also performs all the back-and-forth movements that Glenn Miller Orchestra was famous for. Get ready to hear all-time favorites like Tuxedo Junction, Pennsylvania 6-5000, American Patrol, String of Pearls, Chattanooga Choo Choo, and of course, the Moonlight Serenade. The Glenn Miller Orchestra performs at Shell Point on Tuesday, February 4th. We end our concert season with a tribute to one of the greatest folk musicians of all time. John Denver came to prominence in the early 1970s, having written the hit song Leaving on a Jet Plane. As a solo artist, he combined the best parts of folk music, country, and pop, and hit it big with the songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads. This music stands the test of time, and you can now experience it live, thanks to tribute artist Jim Curry. Emulating John Denver's unique voice and style, Jim will perform the entire evening of John Denver's music, accompanied by a full live band. You might hear Sunshine on My Shoulders, Rocky Mountain High, and even Thank God I'm a Country Boy. Jim Curry's tribute to John Denver, Take Me Home, comes to Shell Point on Monday, March 17th. There's something for everyone in the Shell Point Fine and Performing Arts concert series, and you'll love the price too. You have your choice of ticket packages with individual tickets for just $35, but you can save big by purchasing the entire season for only $125 in advance. That's $50 off the normal ticket price. Or you can choose our popular Pick 3 option, selecting 3 out of the 5 concerts for just $90 and saving $15 in the process. Just watch for our concert series brochure and get your tickets today. You can also explore our other 2 concert series, the Concert and Conversation series and the Southwest Florida Symphony series. We are also proud to announce that the Barbary Coast Dixieland Band will return to Shell Point for a bonus concert on Friday, February 28th, with a special ticket price of just $15. Once again, our Fine and Performing Arts concert series begins with tenor Daniel Rodriguez on November 14th. The 4 freshmen harmonize on December 19th. The Preservation Hall Jazz Band performs on January 4th. We welcome the Glenn Miller Orchestra on February 4th, and the John Denver tribute, Take Me Home, commences on March 17th. If you have any questions about any of these performances, please contact our box office at 454-2067. I'm Dawn Bourne, and we'll see you at the concert hall.
Dr. Harriet Reese is teaching an academy class on the greatest American writers of the 20th century. Let's learn more.
Hello, I'm Terry Coleth, and I'm here today with Harriet Furton Reese. And Dr. Reese lives in Genonia. She is presenting a 2-session course for us in this academy semester, and it is exploring the lives and the works of 20th century American writers. Thank you for joining me, Harriet.
Well, thank you for having me here.
I love how you develop these classes for us, and how you, especially in this one, are looking at the 20th century American writers and letting us focus on how they were different from the writers who came before.
Yes, and some people have said to me, you're doing a whole century? That's a lot. And so I've had to handpick some of the authors, and they may not necessarily be your favorite author, but they are the ones that will give us an idea of how the American literature had changed over that century.
Well, right off the bat, I feel kind of a pride in these authors because they did become uniquely American voices for us, didn't they?
Yes.
And how did that happen? Who were some of these writers that you're going to talk about? Some of them I see from the photographs were pretty far out ahead of other people in their thinking. And
very true. Well, J.D. Salinger certainly fits into what you just said, and some of the people who wrote about the who were called muckrakers, and and I've got a kind of a unique way of talking about that because we're going to break those 2-syllable words into some reality meaning and how that affected their writing. But Baldwin, we're going to be talking about, and a few others that maybe people are not very familiar with, along with, of course, Faulkner and a few others that we certainly can't skip over. Plus, we put some poets in there, Frost, and certainly T.S. Eliot. And towards the end, I believe it is, we'll have some opening of some plays. And we're going to talk about some of those playwriters who were more interested not in the fiction part, but how to get this on a stage and to be presented before the American people. And that also changes rather dramatically.
Now, you've shared with me that you're really going to talk about literary theme, and that you're going to use examples of writers that typify a certain theme.
Yes, and those themes changed dramatically throughout the century. In fact, as I'm analyzing that century, I can see several major breaks, and what I've been doing is gathering up the authors under various movements, literary movements, and then even though they could go in several of them, I had to pick which one to put them in at that point. And big changes from the beginning of the century to the end of the century, and almost shocking changes, if you will.
Now, you've also talked about the point of view. So interesting, the communication, how the writer communicates with the reader.
Yes, and I asked the question there, have you ever read a book and you got to the end and you weren't quite sure whether the author was telling you what he wanted to tell you? But we go and take a look at that sort of thing, and we find out that many of them had a specific point of view, and that's how they wrote most of the time. Some of the times they'd go off balance, if you will. So that's an interesting part of it, their point of view.
All right, the fourth question deals with style. Is that something that's very obvious as you went through the 20th century writers, that's changing of style?
Oh, the styles change dramatically. There's every time there is a major break, not only do the themes change, but also the styles change. And most of them are, forward-looking thinkers, just as they were in the beginning, as they cut off from the models of the European style and went into their own styles. But those styles change, and change. That's what is so exciting.
Well, the whole thing's so exciting. And to think that you have looked at a century of writers for us, and you're going to present them in ways that I can guarantee will make you want to go back and pick up some of these books, because you'll look at these authors and their styles of writing and communication in a whole new way. There are 2 sessions, so please sign up only if your intention is to attend both sessions, because Dr. Reese builds in this 2-session course on a body of knowledge she's presenting us.
The holidays are almost here, which means that residents are gearing up to donate to the employee Christmas gift.
Are you sure this is the place we're supposed to be meeting?
Yes, Renee said it's time for us to get back to Christmas time.
Christmas always starts right here in the courtyard with our tree lighting.
So, where is she?
Hey guys, what's up?
We're all here.
Here for what?
You said it's time for us to get back to Christmas time, so we're all ready.
No, I said it's time to give back at Christmas time. For the employee Christmas gift.
Oh, yeah, we know.
Oh, we know. Well, we have the Christmas decorations, but the employee Christmas gift is something bigger.
The employee's Christmas gift is the one time each year that we can give gifts to the employees to let them know how much we appreciate all of their hard work.
How about we give them some Christmas ornaments?
You can, but what most of the employees would really appreciate would be some money.
I guess they could all use a little boost to buy gifts for the kids and travel to see family.
That's right. And with all of us working together, we can make sure that they get a worthwhile gift.
So it's time to give back at Christmas time.
That's right, Joan. And I bet we can make it as easy as possible to give.
We could put donation boxes at each service desk.
That's good. What else?
We could offer forms from the finance department so it could easily be put on our monthly bill.
Good idea.
Good idea, Lynn.
Excellent. Just make sure all of the donations come in before Friday, November 29th. Because the next week, December 6th, we have the privilege of handing these gifts to the employees in person.
That's always a great event.
Okay, any other questions? All right, let's go then.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. Good idea. It's time to give back at Christmas time.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of November 15th, 16th, and 17th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.